I was planning on going to the gym today and bringing some more stuff in from the garage, but I woke up feeling like a truck just ran over me, so I'm not really sure how much I'm going to get done today, if anything. It might just be a lazy day at home doing nothing. I did hear back from the second landscaper guy, and his quote was a lot more reasonable and meets my budget, so I'm gonna go with him. He said he can start right away, so I'm happy about that. I'm just gonna make a few changes to the initial quote that I requested, and I'll show you what I plan on doing. So this is the front yard. I'm standing on the porch right now. So it's really just weeds. She did put in a nice fence. But this is what the front yard looks like. I don't really want to show the outside of the house, so I just show this perspective. And this is the other corner. And then the driveway wraps around here. That's where the van was parked. And there's just a wood fence that goes to the backyard. So what I want to do is kind of put in a little patch of artificial turf right here, and then another little patch in that corner, and then put maybe a couple of trees out here in the front. This is the side that faces south, so it'll help block the sun, at least during the summer. And here's an overview of the backyard. I'm standing out on the patio right now. So there's the shed. There's a little stone walkway. I was gonna have it replaced, but I'll just leave it. Spray some weed killer on the weeds, I guess. So these are just weeds along the house here. And then it goes back over to that wooden fence. So just weeds. So I was going to put a little patch of artificial turf out here with the rock around the edges. I think I'm going to forego that. I've had properties with AstroTurf, and my tenant's dog just peed all over it, and I couldn't get the smell out no matter what I did. I just had to have the whole AstroTurf area replaced. So I'm a little concerned about that. I know it's going to look kind of bare back here with just rock and gravel, but thinking long term, it's just going to be a rental, so I need something low maintenance and budget friendly. If I was going to stay here and it would be my forever home, I would put a lot more time and effort into it, probably plant some bushes, maybe a tree or two, and I'd put the artificial turf in. But since it's just going to be an investment property, I'm just gonna keep it simple for right now. I can always add stuff in later if the budget allows, and probably when I go to sell it, I'll spruce it up a little bit. But for right now, the rock and gravel is gonna work, so I'm just gonna go with that. And oh my gosh, the weather out here is just perfect right now. It's about 75 degrees, and it feels so good in the middle of July. So I'm really liking this summer house idea. So I'm in the garage right now, and this is the section I need to sort through and pick out what's going to go for the sale and what's going to get donated. This is really all I have left in the garage, so it looks like a small area, but it's really stacked up pretty high. So I'll see how far I get this morning. And while I'm cleaning the garage, I thought I would answer a comment that I get a lot, which is, how did Coco come into my life? To give a little context, I need to give some background information on the other cats that I've owned. So when I was in my 20s and I moved out into my first place on my own, I wanted a cat. So I went down to the Humane Society. I adopted a black and white cat, and I named her Muffin, and I called her Muffy for short. And I had her for about 1 to 2 years. I love her. She's such a sweet kitty, but I thought she was a little lonely, so I wanted to get 2 kittens. And I always wanted a white cat with blue eyes named Coconut, and I would call her Coco. So when my coworker announced to everybody that one of her cats just had kittens, they're white with blue eyes, does anybody want one? I'm like, yes, 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 oh my gosh, I want one. Because I just felt like it was meant to be. I just spoke it into the universe, and the universe provided what I wanted. So I went over to her house, and there was about 4 or 5 white kittens running around, and her other cat also just had kittens a week after the white kittens were born. So there were a bunch of gray and black kittens running around. So I was in this room with all these kittens, trying to pick out which one I wanted for Coconut. And this one white kitten just started climbing all over me, up my legs, up my torso, and she made it to the top of my head. So I said, I'm taking this one home. So that was little Coconut, and I put her in the carrier to come home. And I didn't want her to be the only kitten in the house, so I decided to bring home another kitten. And there was this little gray kitty who also climbed my legs and up to my shoulders, so I took her home. I named her Madison. She was such a sweet kitty. She was a week younger than Coconut. I think they were half-sisters. I'm not positive, though, because when I was over at their house, there were 2 adult white cats, the mom and the dad, and there was also this black female cat, which I think the white cat mated with her and got the gray and black kitties. I'm not certain, but I think that's what happened because I didn't see any other cats in the house. It was just those 3 adult cats. So I think Coco and Madison were half-sisters, and I brought them home, and they just played with each other all day long. They were so cute. I'll insert photos of all the cats that I've had at the end of the video so you can see what they look like, and I have little photos of when Coco and Madison were little kitties, and they were just so cute and adorable, and I love them so much. So about 1 or 2 years later, my friend had adopted 2 kittens from the Humane Society, and after a few months, he decided he didn't want them anymore, and he was going to take them back to the Humane Society. I said, no, don't do that. You know, they're so cute together. They're already bonded, and if you put them up for adoption, they'll be separated. So just let me have them, and I'll raise them together like they're supposed to be. So I ended up with 2 more kittens. Their names were Ringo and Raja. Ringo was the boy, and Raja was the girl. So at this time, I have 5 cats. I was still in my 20s, and they were all about the same age. So I just spent my adult life with 5 cats in my house. And I had so much fun with them. They all had different personalities, and they were just all over the house. They were so active, and I just loved having all of them. I remember during the winter, they would all climb on my bed and sleep with me because they were cold. and I would just be wrapped up like a mummy with all these cats around me. Oh, they were all so sweet. I love them all so much. And unfortunately, they've all passed away except for Coco. She's my last one left. Ringo passed away when he was 12. He had oral cancer. And then I think Muffin passed away 3 years after him. She had kidney failure. And then Madison passed away 2 months later after Muffin. She also had cancer. And then Raja passed away, I think about 9 months after Madison. She also had kidney cancer or she had kidney disease and also hyperthyroidism, and her back 2 legs were starting to become paralyzed. I'm not quite sure what was causing that, but she was just very sick, and she passed away. So I lost 3 cats in a year. That was very hard for me, especially since I've had all of them since they were kittens. So that was about, I would say, 3 years ago. So Coco's the only one I have left, and she's 20 years old. So I had 5 cats, and now I'm down to 1 cat, and that's the story of me and Coco. I've had her since she was 6 weeks old. As you can see in the photos, I'll put at the end of the video. So once she passes away, it's going to be a very sad day for me. But I do love cats. I do hope to adopt many more. I want to move out of state, and I know moving with pets is very difficult. So when she does passes, I'm just going to wait until I move, and then I'll adopt a whole lot more kitties because I love them so much. I'm definitely a cat person, and I can't wait to have more cats in my house again. Okay, so I think I brought in as much as I can from the garage. And here's what the bedroom looks like. Oh boy, lots of sorting to do. For those of you who wonder why I don't just sort it out in the garage, it's because during the summertime the garage is just way too hot out there. So I bring it in here in the morning before the sun comes up. And I just do all my sorting and making decisions in the house, where I have AC. So that's why. And I just left this stuff out here because I know I'm going to be keeping it. This concrete cleaner, I can use that where the van was parked. There's a giant oil stain. Thermometer is always good to have. Tape measures I'm keeping. De-icer, I can use that during the winter. This is a really nice cabinet thing. I'll just keep that. Broom is handy. More insect killer, weed killer. What is this? Foam sealant. I might get rid of that. Can't believe all this weed killer that she has. She has all of that. Plus, all of this is weed killer. Like, why do you buy so many? Can't you just use one up and then go buy another one? I don't know. There's a bucket of paint here I'm not sure what to do with. And fire extinguishers, I'm sure they're expired. I need to figure out where to dispose of those. So I have this, oops. Forgot to put this out for the quilting sale. I think it's for a sewing machine. And then underneath there is the buffet. So I think most of these boxes are my grandmother's glassware. I still have these shelves to go through. And some more stuff back here, ladders. I don't really know what's back here, but that'll be tomorrow hopefully. So I think I'm going to head to the gym, then I gotta go pick up some more groceries, and I'll come back and get back to sorting. So I just got back from the gym and picked up some more groceries. It's still fairly early in the morning, so I'm going to tackle the stuff I brought in from the garage, and I wanted to share something with you. So I found this box in the garage. I'm just covering up her name and address. It's labeled Baby Comforter, handmade 1950s by mom. So that's my mom's handwriting, so I think it was made by her mom. And I found this little bonnet for baby. Oops. I guess she knitted it. And here's the comforter. So it has little bunnies and ducks and is that chickens and some pigs and some kitties. I'm trying to get it in the whole shot here, but you get the idea. It does have some staining on it. I wonder if that would come out. But I don't know why, but I feel really drawn to this. Kind of like I feel my grandmother's energy when I hold it. So when I found it, I just kind of took a few moments and just kind of sat with it. And even though it's not something that I would ever use and I don't really have anybody to pass it on to, I think I'm going to be keeping this. Just because I just feel my grandmother's here when I touch it. I don't really get that feeling a whole lot, so when I do, it's something I definitely pay attention to. And then that caused me to do some thinking about that cedar chest. I know it's been in my family for, I guess, 3 generations. And I think I might keep it and just have it refinished. I would change out the hardware. I don't really like that handle. And I might, well, I don't know. I was thinking about taking these wood strips off. But I like how it sits up on the legs. I hate when furniture sits on the floor. Flat. I don't know what it is. I'm like obsessed with vacuuming underneath all my furniture. Like I want to see the entire floor space in all of my rooms. Is that weird? So I like how it sits up on legs, and I just feel sort of drawn to it now that it's been sitting out here and I've spent some time looking at it. So I think I might have this refinished. I am getting more into like solid wood furniture, just because it seems like all the furniture made these days is just crap, made from particle board, which weighs a ton and it's ugly, to be honest. I hate particle board, so I'm really picky when it comes to furniture. I like, high quality wood. So it's a really nice piece of furniture. So I'm thinking I might keep it. If I change my mind, I can always get rid of it later. But once you get rid of something, you're not gonna get it back. especially since it has sentimental value and it's been in my family for a long time. So I think I'm going to be hanging on to that for now. So those are my thoughts that kind of went through my head yesterday as I was just laying in bed and resting. So I just felt drawn to keep it along with the baby blanket. So that's what I'll be doing. And I also wanted to share that I never met my grandmother on my mom's side. My mom never really talked about her or shared stories about her. I don't know that much about her other than the few photos that I found going through her photo albums. And really the only story she told me about her was she was diabetic and she had one of her legs amputated below the knee. And she was in the hospital to have her other leg amputated. And during this time, my mom found out that she was pregnant with me. So my mom was rushing over to the hospital to tell her mom the good news. And her mom had already passed away right before the surgery from diabetes. So my mom never got to tell her mom the good news about being pregnant with me. I'm sure it was really hard for my mom being pregnant while grieving the loss of her mom. I've always wondered if that affects an unborn baby and in what way. My grandmother never knew about me, at least not in her earthly life. I'm sure in her spiritual life she's looking down at me right now and knows all about me. But that's the story of my grandmother, and I just thought I would share. And I've always wondered how my mom dealt with the grieving process while she was pregnant. Seems like it's something that would be really difficult, trying to get ready for a new life coming into the world while also saying goodbye to somebody else that recently passed. My mom never said anything about her grieving or struggling, but I'm sure she went through it. She just never really talked about, hard times in her life, so I don't really know that much about that time. Okay, so I think I'm done sorting for today. I still have these hedge trimmers to go through. I don't know why she has so many. Some of them not work. I don't know. And there's no hedges here for me to try them out, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do. So I have a pile of cords there I have to go through. I haven't decided if I want to keep this sprayer thing. And it's going out for the sale, or I guess, I don't know, maybe I'll keep it. No. What do we need a saw for? Let's sell it. Okay, so I kind of cleared everything out in here. So I'm exhausted. And I'm done with garage stuff for today. So I really just sorted through everything and picked out what I wanted to keep, and I just put it back out in the garage, and everything I wanted to sell I put out in the living room, and I have a pile of trash that has to go out. So I'm just mentally exhausted right now, just making all these decisions, touching every single item and deciding if I want to keep it or sell it. I mean, a large majority of this stuff was my dad's, so I thought about him a lot, even though he's been gone for over 20 years. I still miss him and think about him, and he was always really handy with tools. He made so many things. So just going through all this stuff just brought back a lot of memories, and seeing his handwriting on some of the boxes and little notes that he would make. Just made me miss him a whole lot. So I'm just mentally and emotionally worn out right now. It's about 3 o'clock. I think I'm just going to relax for the rest of the day. Maybe work on some eBay stuff. I left a link to my eBay store down in the video description. Thanks everybody for all the orders you placed. It's really helped a lot. Just get stuff out of the house, and you know, just your support. I really appreciate it, since I'm just doing all this by myself. I had a good day today, got a lot done. If I don't check back in, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.